if you feel a heaviness around the work that you do, that's just an indicator that you're not being authentic in that facet of your life. And it's really super important that you just recognize that heaviness, because that just represents a lack of freedom. Hey, everybody. How are you on this fine day? We are here to talk about how happy are you in your work life, and are you feeling a profound sense of freedom in your work life? My guess is probably not for the most of the people watching. And because I am Julie Murphy, and I am the money chick, but Karyn here works to help you work through your blind spots, and particularly in your career and your work life. And so we just want to help you guys and encourage all of you that if you ever want to come and help us we want to help you. So come on next week. So let us know. I want to say that at the beginning this time, because I've actually had in my Awaken Your Relationships, people are now chiming in going, yes, I need your guys' help. So by all means, if you want to go live with us, please send an email to julie@juliemurphy.com, and we will connect you so that you can join us next Wednesday when we do this live. So Karyn, what do you think? You're seeing freedom, lack of freedom?
I know, it's so funny when these things come to me. Like, it's usually first thing in the morning, they kind of drop in, and the word freedom came to mind. And I think, it's just been a week. It's been a week. It's been more than a week, really, but like last week really crystallized for me the idea and the power of freedom, but also what that means. So here in the US, in the context of democracy, that issue came up, but also the idea of how many of us struggle. And as I was thinking about, like, yeah, we're probably going to have we've got at least 6 more months of what we have right now, which is it's going to take a minute for the vaccine to get out and for things to roll. And many people are struggling. Here's a fact, and this is another reason why this came up for me. Job loss in the US in December, 140,000 jobs lost net in December, all women.
All women?
The net was all, of course, in the grander number, there was some gains, some losses, but the net loss is all women, 140,000. And while we started...
That's shocking.
When we started the year, February, was the first time there's all this commotion about, for the first time, women employment statistics for women were at parity with men, 50.2 to like 49.8 or something. We're like, whoa, first time in decades. At the close of the year, net loss was over 800,000 jobs to women. So people are struggling. They're trying to understand. They're trying to, like, how are these people going to make it? And so in the context of work, it has never been more important to get clear.
Right.
It has never been more important to really rethink and not to believe that where you are and what you have is going to stay. I don't mean to incite fear. I'm just saying that we know energetically something different happens when you can stand your truth. You're not slugging your way through what's happening. And I do believe, I'm a strong believer in the gig economy. But this is back to the freedom conversation. What does freedom look like? And I think right now people are struggling. They would get very angry about even this conversation. How can I be free in my work? I just need a job. I've got to get stuff. I've got to get food on the table and keep my apartment. I mean, these are very real struggles. So what I'm asking people to do is to think about it at probably one of the most difficult times to even consider something like this. And yet this is exactly when we should be considering it.
Well, and this goes back to that our navigator is like, if you feel a heaviness around the work that you do, that's just an indicator that you're not being authentic in that facet of your life. And it's really super important that you just recognize that heaviness, because that just represents a lack of freedom. And how do we get to a place where this freedom can then start to open up in you? And sometimes that just starts with, okay, I need to look at this. Then freedom starts to open up, and then you kind of go, okay, there might be options. And even though if you don't know exactly the path, it's just being willing to open up while all this is going on at large. Because here's what I know. If we don't go inside and really tune into what's authentic for us as individuals, and stay out of the projection and the push and the you're right, you're wrong, like, no, go inside, because that projection has nothing to do with your authenticity. But find out what's true for you, and then how do you become the creator of that in your life?
Yeah.
Not easy. Not easy at all. You know, I think about in my own scenario, I have an ex-husband who is starting to, you know, he was an at-home dad, so hasn't worked in 12 years. And he is taking the first steps this month, and he's doing student teaching because he's going to be a teacher for the first time in his life. So that came with all other kinds of packages, right? How is he emotionally processing that? Like, it's the next level of me not being the provider and supporter of him, because he's having to step into his own power. And I know there's a lot of actually women that feel that way out there, you know, as you're stepping back into the workforce or changing jobs, or, you know. So as we go through some of these transitions, still, how do you get back to that center piece, to feel that freedom, to feel that it's okay for me to walk across this bridge? You know, it's okay, you know, which is why we want to help those, you guys that are watching. Like, we are here to help because you're one of another 100 people that have almost the same scenario as you do, that we can help so many more people. If one of you guys desire next week to have the courage, say, hey, let's work through this live.
Yeah.
Because we deserve this freedom.
Yeah. And it seems very counterintuitive. Like our nature is to contract when something, like with a job loss or some kind of challenge, that our nature is to contract in, and then like scramble to find something else. And that's really important. I get it. Like, replacing a lost job is incredibly important. But in the time when you're not actively sending resumes or writing applications, find 30 minutes or an hour to really try and calm. I know it's so hard. I get it. But to ask yourself, what do I really want? Like, if I could find a job right away that met me where I am, what elements would be included? Don't worry about whether it seems unlikely or impossible, or why am I playing this stupid game with myself? It's not realistic. Like people come at me all the time with, that's not realistic. I'm like, well, who defines reality?
Right? I think that's one of the things that's like, think about just what's going on in the media today. Like, they're defining people's reality of how they perceive things,
oh my God,
or how things are being pushed. Like, we're really at a place where we have to question, like, how did we get to the thought process that we're in? And is that authentic for you, or is it not authentic for you?
Yeah. And even if you feel like you're in the worst possible scenario, it's still fair to have a wish list. You know, like if you said, well, my next job, I would really love to have some flexibility. I don't know how likely that is, but at least I'm going to put that on my list.
Right.
I want it to be a culture or an environment where they understand people having family and family values matter.
Right.
Like, who knows? Because here's the thing. There's no downside to creating your wish list.
Right. Exactly.
None.
Right.
No,
Totally.
you might not get them all. You might get two, you might get none. But if you don't make the list, if you don't create the definition for yourself, you won't have any sense of what you're trying to bring into your life.
Right.
You definitely won't get it. I mean, it's like that old adage. Oh no, never mind. I'm not going to use that one. But it's classic. You got to get in it to win it.
Right. And because in the end, that's all that matters, right? Your truth and living your life from that place. Like there's a lot of noise going on out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, I'll have people say, did you read this? Did you do this? I'm like, nope. Because I'm literally choosing not to. Because it can dominate your life. It puts you into fear and reactivity.
Yeah.
And I want to stay in my own personal empowerment. And it's
Yeah.
not that I don't want to be aware of what's going on. Okay, yeah, but I'm not engaging in it. I'm not reacting to it. And the more I do it, it's like building a muscle,
Mm-hmm.
because I even noticed, even at my own company, employees are, if they're having a rough time because of what's going on around them, like they're making more mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
so I want to hold a space of more love and compassion and be like, how you doing? Where are you at? Like, how you processing through everything going on in the world?
Mm-hmm.
And I've had, two people on my staff get COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And, and I brought them everything, the tools that I know of, because I do a series of Awaken Your Health. And I brought some of those people to them to help them through that process. And it's just like, this is about help out your neighbor again. But most importantly, also make sure you're helping yourself by being authentic and plugging into the world, and so that you can find that profound sense of freedom internally.
Yeah.
And that's really, for me, what it's all about.
Yeah. Yeah, I think sometimes, Julie, we ask the wrong questions, right? Like, how do you define freedom, or what would freedom look like to you? And then what would peace look like to you?
Mm.
No one ever asks those questions.
How about it?
Like really, and to say, what would it look like for you or to you?
Mm.
Like I offer those to people to really take a minute and think about it. There's some stuff that will come up likely very early. Freedom looks like being able to go where I want to go, or buy my house, or do these. Okay, now peel back that layer. What
Right.
else?
Mm-hmm. What else?
And how does it feel to you?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And who is with you in that place?
Mm. Yep.
Yeah, because very often we have no idea how incredibly powerful we are, and we throw our power away.
So true.
Words,
You just toss it.
thoughts, like, yeah, whatever. No, not whatever. grab that energy you just threw out the window, claim it back, and point it in a different direction.
Right.
And you can be a naysayer. You can feel very powerful by saying, I don't believe you. That's not reality.
Right.
Okay, so you're not willing to try it?
Right.
Usually what's behind that is a fear of being let down.
That's so true.
And it doesn't work. See,
Yep.
I told you. And you know what? You could tell me you told me so. But I have a feeling it's going to be a little different.
Right. Well, and I just think that it's time to just start asking those questions to yourself. That's really what it boils down to. Start challenging yourself.
And you listen, if none of this resonates, bless it on its way. But if even a little teeny part is starting to activate you in your heart or your belly, or you're like,
Yep.
I didn't think of it that way. That is your door. That the door is open. Step on in and see what you feel. Because the stuff Julie and I talk about is not going to be for everybody. We're not for everybody. But for those of you that have found yourself here, there's a reason.
Nothing happens without synchronicity and timing. Even if you're finding it live or if you're finding it taped down the road, and just know that, Karyn and I are here to help. And we are here on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Central. And we have both of our websites here in our pictures. So juliemurphy.com or Beyond Blind Spots for Karyn. And we're here to help. We have, different programs or different things, or join us next Wednesday. We want to help you get to a work life that makes you giggle, that you love, that it makes you feel this profound sense of freedom that you're like, yeah, I'm doing this.
Mhm.
Because we did it ourselves and we've helped others do the same.
And feel free to come with what you think are tough questions.
Yeah.
I
think it's so important because I don't want to sit here and just like talk to a screen. I want to make change in the world and impact. So let us help you.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's $800 or $900 worth of free coaching. Come get it.
Yeah, how about it? And if you know people who want to shift their work life, please like, share, so then it can spread to more people. Let's spread good in this world right now, as opposed to spreading things that are pulling us down to a lower vibration.
Yep.
Well, Karyn, thanks again. I love having this chat about living your ideal work life. This is beautiful.
It is, and it's totally possible. And come on, guys. Now is the time.
And again, you can send us a message. You can send it to julie@juliemurphy.com, and we will have you linked in for next week, and we'll go live with you and help you out. Love you all. See you next week. Bye.